Yeah. Once again, it's brought to you by channel IHB1020. Y'all seen I dropped a couple of videos last night. Now, I kind of got a habit of doing that. I was on like my 19th hour being up when I dropped the video. So I didn't really get into the flow. It was like everything. The reason why I dropped it because everything else I was trying to drop, it was including bits and pieces of this shit. So I said, let me get this out. But anyway, what I was breaking down was the idea that, or the truth, that any religion, any religion that takes a God, that is not human, it's non-African. I'm just saying, this is how they got us when they brought us the Jesus that they brought us. This nigga was inhuman. If you can dig the story of Jesus. He is inhuman. He is not human. If you go back and study African real history, the gods was just like you and I. Like the book say, nigga, you are God. In the Bible, Jesus tell them, you are God, nigga. And that's what it say. Because you are God. We are God. Why they done duped us and got us looking at all these other places for God? And the way a person proved they was God, like some preachers, I get it. They was down at their lowest. Or they was going through something like let's say like a crackhead. Somebody that was on drugs heavily. And they was able to rise up out of that. Right? And that's how they got their statue of being God, to prove that they God. Or they was able to do some formidable shit. And if you pay attention to school, the Thomas Edisons, the Einsteins, these people that they in school, they take and lift up. That's what they doing. They lifting them up, apotheosos. They turning them into gods. They did some great shit, but they did it for their people. And that's just, this way that they doing, like school again. They're lifting these white folks up that did these great things and making them out of gods. Bell, who invented the telephone, making them out of a god. He's gonna go down in history. Ford that invented the first car, but then they saying it's a black man that invented the first car. But you know, when you in power, you can take from a motherfucker that's not in power and say it was yours. You can stamp it and say this is mine. That's what a lot of people say, that Christianity or Islam was really our way of living. Not really, nigga, because again, any religion, any spiritualism that omits the woman out of the heavenly bodies is not African. It's non-African. And this is real spiel. Again, any religion that does not include the female or female goddesses, more than one, however you want to do it, into the heavenly bodies is non-African. So what you need to think about, young black woman, the ones I'm going to call saying we got to be that phenomenon. You got to be that phenomenon. You got to think about why did they omit the black woman out of the heavenly bodies, or the woman, period, out of the heavenly bodies. But you have to understand, this is what they're doing in school. They're taking these gods, these men or women that did some great shit, and lifting them up in our kids' mind. And they gonna forever be up there. When you talk about who invented this, who done this, who done that, who done that, your kids cannot go and say, hey, electricity, the light bulb, been around since the beginning of the time. Niggas right there on the Egyptian hieroglyphics. Your kids cannot battle this shit when they say the Wright brothers invented the airplane. Wait, nigga. No, they got airplanes on the hieroglyphics, nigga. So we invented that motherfucking airplane. Who invented the boat and all this shit? Your kids cannot defend this shit because they going to a school and it's been broke down to them who invented this shit. So it making our kids believe they invented that shit. Now they might have reinvented, they might have discovered it. This is what they say. Columbus discovered America. He did for them. He discovered it for them. That is their history. And they have a right to tell their history the way they want to. But the problem is we, for some reason, lack of good leadership. We believe by fucking with them, they're going to tell us the real story. They not. Nigga, they gonna tell a story that benefits them. It makes more motherfucking sense. Why would you tell a story that benefits another race? I know you could tell the truth. I dig the truth. But why would you tell a story that give them the ups on you? It don't make sense, nigga. This is a race. This is a race, nigga, and we're not competing at all, if you ask me, because we steady running behind the white man in a lot of things. In his religion, in his schools, we running behind him. And he's out competing us because he's seeing great images of himself. It'll stir him, it'll stir a person up. If you see great enemies, all this shit the white man done, all the shit he done conquered, all the shit he done so-called invented. Come on, nigga. The shit will cause you to perform, them to perform great. And this is why they're performing great. Because of the images they seeing. Ain't nothing wrong with a black man or your son seeing what you want to call that gangster images. Because a gangster really ain't nothing but a soldier. Pimp images. Pimp ain't nobody that's just for the church or for their religion. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying the reason why the white man is outperforming us in this race or any other culture, because they got more images of their self doing great things. We will put our kids and let them go through their school and while they're going to lift up these white gods and have our kids serving these white gods. And we don't realize this shit. Nobody's really breaking this shit down and telling us that the ideal of a God that wasn't in flesh did not exist to us. The idea that there was a God that did not go through the struggles that the human, like some, I've noticed some gay people saying, I'm having a human experience. A God that did not have the human experience. How the fuck he gonna judge you? Nigga, you never came down here and you don't know what it's like to be addicted to crack, nigga. To judge me. You don't know what it's like to be robbed of everything, then put in ships and brought over here to America, and then try to tell me I gotta walk a certain way, nigga. You don't know what it's like. So how you gonna put this on me and try to tell me I need to turn the other cheek, or I need to be forgiven, or I need to walk this certain route in order to get to heaven? No, nigga. Just think about it. They gave us a God that did not exist to us. They gave us a God that could not fall in a hole. They gave us a God, and I understand in the book it says when you make that offering has to be spotless. Cannot be nothing wrong with it. But like I was saying yesterday, it could be the thought, the mind of this offering. Your mind can be a great offering if you don't feel guilty about a motherfucking thing. You can't offer yourself to God if you're guilty, or to the universe. Just think about it. This is just gonna be a fucked up offering because you in doubt. You got a lot. You don't believe in yourself. There's a lot of shit going on. I'm saying this is how they duped us. They gave us a God and wanted us to believe in this God. Believe in this God, and this is how you gonna get through, nigga. No, it's believe in yourself. I'm just giving y'all some real spiel. It's believe in yourself. So while we searching that, praying, oh God, help me do this, you can be working on yourself because it's a process that everybody got to go through to get it. It's a process. Yes, without a doubt, it is a process. But that's how they duped us. And we got a lot of niggas in their churches. Because church is the white man. The ideal of a Christ. This is why the Jews won't accept it. This is why some Jews will not accept it, because according to the scripture, their script, it says that the Messiah is going to sit down with the lion, the wolf, whoever the lion is. It might be the Jewish enemy, but the Jewish nation consider themselves the lamb. It said the lamb is going to sit down, so they knew the Messiah that was coming, he was coming to bring peace. And a lot of Jews don't want to accept Jesus, or the Jesus we know, the Jesus that we accept, the Jesus that our priests, black men, lifted up for us to worship, is because the nigga said, I don't come to bring peace, nigga. I come to bring a sword. And to the Jews, that wasn't their prophecy. The prophecy was of a Messiah that was going to bring peace on earth. And if you study us, if you study black people in Africa, that's what we was about. We was about peace. We was about going over this, all over this motherfucker, spreading peace. We wasn't about leaving the blind in the blind. You know how many times we went over there to Europe to try to civilize this nigga? If we was about leaving the blind with the blind, we would have left them niggas alone. This is not our way. This is their way to lead the blind and the blind. Because again, in the book, it also say, Jesus say, the way you're gonna know that one of mine is about you'll be able to give sight to the blind. You'll be able to heal the sick. You'll be able to take snakes up in your hand. Just think about it. The shit is contradictory, but that book benefits them, white people, Christianity, more, however you look at it. It benefits them in their plight through life. It does not benefit us. If it have, we'll be winning. If it did, we'll be competing. Trust me, we would be. I don't give a damn if you put all the black churches, Baptist churches, Catholic, you put them all together and then try to put them up against the Church of Rome. They ain't gonna stand. They ain't gonna stand against the Church of Rome because the God they brought us, his ways is their way. It's not our way. Study us. That is not our way. The idea of leaving the blind, let the blind know. Our way was giving sight to the blind. Let's go over there. Them niggas don't see what's going on over there because if you pay attention in our tablets, it said the gods or spirits, they looked down and saw man was in bondage and decided, let's go down there and free man from bondage. But in the book they gave us, it said God looked down and saw man was together and doing great things and said, let's go down there and divide them niggas so they won't be able to do this shit. That is a script, black people. That is a script telling them how to do it, what to do, when to do. Because again, when they any prophecy, I say the problem with black people, the problem with us is that we don't fulfill the prophecy of our fathers. See, people that's deep in religion understand that when they prophesize of a Messiah coming, it is the priest's job to fulfill that prophecy. It ain't because you are God. You waiting for a God somewhere, mystic God hidden to fulfill that prophecy? No, nigga, you are God. But the Jews didn't agree with the prophecy that the Roman church fulfilled. No, we don't know that God. That ain't the God we was looking for. We wasn't looking for a God that brought a war. That is the Zeus. That's what I'm trying to say. The image, the ways of Jesus is the ways of Zeus. If you go study, that is the way that nigga was coming. That is the way that nigga was built. We wasn't like that. We was not nothing like that, nigga. I'm not saying we was pussies. We wasn't pussy because guess what? They got a lot of, they didn't tell us about, they don't teach us in school. There was a lot of African soldiers that the white man didn't want to go up against. He had to get that cannon or some guns to fight this nigga because they said these niggas could kill you with their bare hands. Hand-to-hand combat, we ain't gonna fuck with them niggas. We ain't going over there and fuck with them niggas. We gonna gun them niggas down because hand-to-hand combat, we know we gonna lose fucking with them niggas. But the God that we believed in was matching the sun. We was trying to match the sun. That's why you see that Saul had the sun on his head. We was trying to match the sun and spread the light and give everybody the light. This is why we was able to come to America, what they call America, sit down with the Indians and eat and realize, nigga, y'all, it's a little different. Y'all explain it different, but it's the same shit. But the white man couldn't do that because his God, Zeus, was a god of war. His father, Zeus, is the god of war. And this is why the Jews would not accept Jesus, some of them anyway, would not accept the picture of Jesus because they know their prophecy said Jesus that come, the Messiah coming, will be a God of peace. But we have accepted the white man God. Understand what I say when I say we have bowed down. Our priests have took this God, lifted him up, and made us bow down to a God of war, and that is not our God. Not saying we shouldn't be about war, because you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Not saying that, but I'm just trying to show y'all that they done took a God, a white God, that's nothing like our God. Because again, we did not know a God that did not have this flesh struggle. If you don't know what it's like to have a human experience, nigga, how you gonna be a god? You don't know what it's like to smoke crack, nigga, and come out of that shit. You don't know what it's like to maybe think you gay and come out of that shit. You don't know what it's like to go down to the bottom, like we see a lot of these bums on the streets, laying down and go all the way down to the bottom and come up. Then you can profess this crown on my head. I'm a god without a doubt, because I was down at the bottom. I was doing my worst, and I was able to come up out of that shit. That's how you got that's how you went down in history as a god, and your people job was to lift you up. It's a story about whoever you is, if your name is Bobby. Bobby was once down at the bottom and he got up. Bobby was a great warrior and he was able to conquer a lot of shit. That's why they got us calling Alexander, who tore down Egypt, the Great. When we talk about it, we say Alexander the Great. That is their history. That is their history. And we're telling the story the same way they're telling the story. And it benefits them. It does not benefit us. Christianity does not benefit us. Islam does not benefit us. Yes, they got bits and pieces of it that come from us. But that is not the whole book, because once again, once you omit any religion that omits the woman from the heavenly bodies is non-African. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. I don't give a fuck how they tell you. Because if you go study African spiritualism, there were goddesses. It wasn't just a god. How you just gonna have the father, which is male, the son, which is male, and no female up there? Because just pay attention, they say as in heaven on earth. So if you got a male god, a female god, and a spirit that is male, no female up there, why we got females on earth? And I'm not trying to get at nobody, but I got to tell this truth. Even the 5%ers who say God's in earth, they don't lift the woman up to the equal status of the man. And that is the way we move, nigga. If you want to know the truth, that is the way we move. We had the female up there. We had to have her up there because she wanted to, we need to understand, and she needed to understand, baby, you accountable too. Now they didn't put the accountability on just the man. This is why the black woman can't get the respect she knows she deserves. Nigga, I know I deserve to be respected because I am the mother of all mankind, nigga. The fuck are you talking about? But you cannot get it because they took you out of the heavenly bodies. And that right now today, black people, especially black people, are blocking you from getting back up there. They're going to make sure that we don't lift you up there like we supposed to. And if you get lifted up, your story going to go down in history like Pocahontas. You know Pocahontas' story, right? Pocahontas, the reason why she goes down in history is because she gave up a lot of Indian information. She was leading the white man to the Indian tribes and showing them where they was, how they was coming and how to attack them. This is why Pocahontas gonna go down in history. And I'm trying to tell y'all, if you go study our script, if you think about this, black woman, why did they remove you out of the heavenly bodies? Because in our script, and it's nothing but a script for you to follow, like a Hollywood script, follow the script. In our script, guess what? Our script said you put the black man back together. It's telling you the black woman is going to have to do it. There ain't going to be no God come nowhere, but you're going to have to do it. Put him back together. And when it says, when Isis put him back together, she could not find his reproductive organ. Just think about it. Is the black man reproducing like he was reproducing before the bullshit? He is not. You're not allowing him. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, because a lot of people are about stroking your ego. A lot of people are about blowing you up, just telling you what you want to hear. But sometimes it's time to hear the truth. And now is the time to hear the truth. After she put him together, the script is saying after you put the black man together, ain't no God gonna do it. The black woman gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to, like it say, Moses dress Aaron up. You're gonna have to dress the black man up. Here, nigga, you gonna be like this. Here, nigga, you gonna be like this. The black man that's lost is running around that lost. Here, nigga, you gonna be like this. But it said once you put him back together, what you could not find was his reproductive organ. And this is the deal. It says you was wise enough to transform into a hawk, which they say a hawk or eagle, whatever the fuck. When it aim at something, 200-some thousand, way up in the air, it gets it. It don't miss. It said you're going to have to see a way to get a black man back his reproductive organ. And that is why they took you out of the heavenly bodies. Because they know if she see this shit, then she gonna get to trying to figure this shit out, and we gonna have a motherfucking problem. But they want us at odds, the black man and the black woman. They need us to stay at odds to prevent you from putting the black man back together and giving him back his reproductive organ, his ability to reproduce. How many of you black women are really willing to admit, my tubes are tied, but I still don't want this nigga producing? Just think about it. I know this shit hurt. I know this shit cut, but this is real spill. Because this is what our scripts say. You're going to have to put the black man back together, and after you do it, you're going to have to give him his reproductive organ. That is what our scripts say. And they don't want you fucking with that script because they know that is the way we're going to get up. That's why I keep trying to tell nigga, the black woman that is our major piece, nigga. She's going to have to put us together. She's going to have to figure this shit out and give us back our ability to reproduce, because producing on the mass level, hey, that's why during the war, I'm trying to tell y'all, there wasn't a slave trade. They was taking manpower and woman power that was fighting in the war out of Africa and shipping them all over the world. When you remove manpower, now you can attack the whole country. That's how, think about it. What I'm trying to show you, we had 5, 10, 15 wives. So you imagine how many kids we had. So imagine, like, they don't want to fuck with China because they say China got the strongest standing army in the world. Men army. They got the strongest standing army. They got a bunch of motherfuckers you got to fight. So during the war, they began to take bodies and put them in shackles and ship them over here, ship them over there, ship them over there to take the man and woman power out of Africa. That way we can attack this motherfucker. And they really can't defend it because we can't kill all of them. You know how many of these motherfuckers is? These niggas got 10, 15 wives, got 50 kids. You can't defend that shit. You can't fight that shit. But if you take the manpower, the same way they're doing in America right now, sending the black man to prison, taking the manpower out of the ghetto, out of the hood, the same way they still do in Africa. When Africans come over here to go to school, their whole goal is to come over here, go to school, and go back and build up Africa. But they come over here and they get the offerings over here. They get to seeing how the more money, I guess, over here, and they decide, fuck going back. I can send some money back, I might visit, but I'm not going back to build up Africa. These people are shrewd. These people are very shrewd, and they got a lot of niggas that know what's going on, but they believe because their books say, let the blind lead the blind. Let the dead bury their dead. But that ain't how we was. Because, and again, if they're following that God, Jesus said the way you're going to know that you're mine, you're going to be able to give life to the dead. You're going to be able to give life to the dead. You're going to be able to give sight to the blind. If you following Jesus, that's the whole thing. That is the whole thing. This is why my tripping is about T.D. Jakes and how we getting on T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes' job as a servant of the church is to go down there and get the sinners and get them sight and get them life and bring them to the church. Add them on to the church. That's what that shit was about. But do know this, black woman. Young black people, you're going to have to pull back. You're going to have to be that phenomenon that Willie Lynch talked about. Willie Lynch talked about a phenomenon coming, and that is the only thing that's going to be able to stop white rule is the phenomenon. Understand again, I'm going to try to break this down again, that in the Bible or in the Quran, when it prophesies of something to come, it is the man's job. It ain't no God up in heaven gonna fulfill this prophecy. Same way with the white man. Everything his fathers prophesied, he is fulfilling. That is the way this shit go. The ideal of another Christ coming. They said when Christ come back, pay attention. It don't say when he first came, he had feet of bronze and woolly hair. No, it said when that nigga came back, he had feet of hair and woolly hair. Feet of bronze and woolly hair. They're fulfilling that prophecy. We got to transfer this shit to the niggas. And we got to make sure they fulfill this they become Jesus-like. And that shit is foreign to us, nigga. The way of Jesus is foreign to us, nigga. Some of that shit is foreign. The ideal if I come to bring a sword, nigga, no, that is not nigga shit. That is white man shit. He's about fighting. He loved war. He's a warring motherfucker. Go study Greek. They had the big old arena over there. And all it was about was blood sport. That's just them. Their father is the god of war, Zeus. That's just them. That is not us. We was about peace. Not saying we was some pussies, but we was about peace and spreading peace. That's what we was about. That's why we was able to sit down with the white man and eat with him and kick it with him. Nigga, come over here. We can show you here. That's why we invited him so many times into our cities. Don't let them call them villages. Stop telling that story. Into our cities and showed him some shit. And I realized that nigga had a plan. That nigga had a plan. But, I lost my thought for a minute. You gotta understand that you gotta be that phenomenon. And they prophesied, the Bible prophesies the shit to come. And it is in man's hands. Because you are God, men. It is in the man hand or women hand to fulfill that prophecy, to make that shit happen. Anybody that understand the game, they understand when a nigga in the game tell you this is going to happen, he got to make that shit happen. He got to put shit together to make sure it happens. Same way when the Bible prophesies. The priests or whoever the fuck is in charge of this shit, they have to fulfill that prophecy. Our fathers who prophesied of other shit to come. The revolution would not be televised. The mothership is coming. We're supposed to fulfill that prophecy. Their fathers, they're fulfilling their father's prophecy. But what I'm saying, my point is, young generation, you're going to have to be that phenomenon Willie Lynch talked about. You're going to have, and the only way to be that phenomenon is Christianity. Here you go, white man. This is yours, nigga. Islam. Here you go, Middle Eastern man. This is yours, nigga. I don't need this shit. Because it's not African. Because there's not a female God up there. It's not about lifting up the black woman with the black man. And because you know if you lift up the black man, if you lift up the black woman is going to lift up her kids. You know this, and that is why they don't want you up there, baby. They don't want you up there knowing about your divinity. They want you to come to them and keep getting it from them. That way they can determine, they can filter what you get of your kids. But if you was up there, you would realize you can raise a son by your motherfucking self as long as you know the truth. You can do this shit by yourself when you ain't got no man. It's going to be hell because you don't have a man to defend you, and that is a man's job. Defending his kids, his family, the white woman. The black woman. That is his job. But they don't want you up there in the heavenly bodies, because you up there in the heavenly bodies, you're going to realize your divinity, and you fuck around, go back and read them tablets, and you're going to try to fulfill that. But young generation, you're going to have to be that prophecy. That Willie Lynch talked about. You're going to have to be that prophecy. You're going to have to fulfill that shit and become that phenomenon. And the one way to do it is get a white man back his religion and his ways. Nigga, this is your God. This is not our God. Arab man, this is your God. This is not our God. Yes, it got bits and pieces of our history in there. Yes, but it's quite obvious. If I'm going to have a God, the God is going to be like me. And it's got to be a goddess up there too. It don't make sense to have a God, a male God, and not have a female God. That's non-African. Anybody that tell you anything different, they don't know they lying to you. They trying to deceive you. But again, young generation, you're going to have to be that phenomenon. But be ready between 1 and 1:30 today. I'm giving away $200. If you can answer the question on my YouTube channel, the first video I dropped, it's called Fuck Y'all, Just Me and My Demons. If you can answer the question, I'm going to give y'all here. It's about a woman. So men, don't get on here and try to get the $200. Got a lot of black women, single mothers that, black women are going to go out for their kids. That probably need this $200. But anyway, y'all have a good morning.